Hi friends. Please subscribe and help me get my first 1,000 subscribers. It's one click for you, but for me it's a huge encouragement and motivation. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. I hope you enjoy this story. Let's go. John came home completely exhausted after a hard week's work. All he wanted to do was eat dinner and go to bed. But as he entered the house, he noticed his wife, Kelly, heading from the living room to the kitchen. She was wearing a little black dress that was clearly not meant for a quiet evening at home. John walked into the kitchen and saw that Kelly was writing something. When he walked in, she looked up and smiled. "It's so good to have you home." "I won't even leave a note," Kelly said. "What's going on?" John asked, gesturing to her outfit. "Why are you dressed like that?" "I'm going on a date," Kelly replied calmly. "A date?" John questioned, not believing his ears. "Well, technically it's a bachelorette party. Lisa, Julie, and Emily are going to celebrate one of them getting married, and they invited me." I said yes. "A bachelorette party? And you're going to be wearing that?" John pointed to the dress. Kelly glanced at her reflection in the oven glass. "Yeah. Is that bad?" "I think it looks great," she smiled. "It looks too good," John pointed out. "There's no such thing as too good," Kelly snorted. "It is if you're a married woman and your girlfriends aren't," John replied. "You do realize that men are going to be looking at you, right? So you're afraid I'm going somewhere without you?" Kelly snapped at him. "Exactly. I see the way men look at you even when I'm around. If I'm gone, they'll do more than just stare." Kelly stepped closer, put her arms around her husband's neck and looked into his eyes. "Do you trust me?" "Of course I do," John replied. "Then trust that I just want to have a good time with the girls. Dance. And then I'll come home to you." "Kelly, I trust you. But I know what you're like. You like attention. One or two men can quickly turn into a line. And given how easily you relax with alcohol, it could end badly." "Then I promise I won't drink," Kelly assured him. "You don't have to drink. But men will send you drinks to win your attention. You're polite, you won't say no. And then you'll have more and more drinks. More than once we've left parties earlier than planned because you've had a little too much to drink. And if I'm not there to stop you." John fell silent, clearly envisioning the worst-case scenario. Kelly looked into his eyes quietly, realizing how concerned he was. "Are you saying I can't go?" she asked. "I'm not saying that. I know how much you love parties like this, but I'm worried about what might happen." Kelly thought for a moment. The longer she pondered his words, the more she realized he was probably right. But she still wanted to go. Then she had an idea. "What if you came with me?" she suggested. "To the bachelorette party? Are you kidding?" John was surprised. "No, not with me. But to the same club." "You'll be around to watch me," Kelly suggested with hope in her voice. John pondered. He didn't like the idea of Kelly dancing with other men. But if he was around... "Okay, give me 10 minutes to change," he agreed. Kelly jumped up happily and hugged him like a little girl. Then she dragged him into the bedroom to help him pick out clothes. "We're going to that new club on 3rd Street. You know, the one with the red lights?" She clarified. "Yeah, I know. How are you getting there?" "We're meeting at Lisa's and we're going together. And you can go straight to the club." "Okay," John nodded, mentally preparing himself for the evening ahead. Kelly smiled at John as they left the house. "You know where the club is, so you should be able to find me easily," she said. "I think that's a good idea," John agreed. They got into their cars. Before they got behind the wheel, John stopped Kelly, took her hands and pulled her to him. "Kelly, I trust you and I want you to have a good time. I just don't want something to happen that we'll regret tomorrow," he said. "And I don't want that. I think you being here is a great idea. That way I can have fun and be safe." "Well, now I have to go, the girls are waiting," she replied with a smile. "Okay. I love you," John said. "I love you too," she said, kissing him on the lips before they both got into their cars. John parked outside the club and walked inside. It was a spacious room with a dance floor in the center, a bar along 2 walls and tables all around. John grabbed himself a drink and sat at one of the tables overlooking the dance floor where he could see the entire room. 15 minutes later he spotted Kelly along with Lisa, Julie and Emily entering the club. They sat down at a table just off the dance floor across from John. Almost immediately their drinks were brought to them and the whole foursome went dancing. John tried not to show that he was watching Kelly, but his gaze kept returning to her. At that moment an attractive brunette approached him. "Would you like to dance?" she asked. "Sure," John agreed. They danced a couple songs and then went back to the table. John immediately found Kelly looking at him. She was dancing with some man at the other end of the dance floor. "Okay, tell me, who is she?" the brunette asked. "Oh," John wondered. "That woman. Wife or friend?" Who is she to you? She continued. What makes you think I have anyone at all? He tried to make a joke. Well, married people usually wear rings. And men who drink in the company of a beautiful girl like me don't watch the dance floor like they're looking for someone. She smiled. John exhaled. That blonde in the black dress dancing with the man in the red shirt. That's my wife. John said, pointing to Kelly. She's beautiful. So you're spying on her? She asked. No, she knows I'm here, John replied. So you're the kind of guy who likes to watch his wife having fun with other men? She asked with a chuckle. Hell no. John said indignantly. Then why are you here? Because I trust her, but I don't trust every other man in this place. And I trust her even less when she's been drinking, he explained. So you're here to make sure nothing happens? She clarified. Exactly. If you don't trust her, why did you let her go to the club in the first place? She asked a direct question. She has 3 friends and they do everything together. They're all single and she's married. She hadn't gone anywhere alone in years and I knew she needed it. We decided that if I was there for her, everything would be fine. It's sweet that you gave her freedom even if you didn't like it. And you're here to protect her. She grinned and looked across the dance floor. This guy she's dancing with? Is that a problem? John frowned. He just put his hand on her ass. She'd pushed him away. But after a couple cocktails she might not notice things like that. So you're planning on sitting here all night? She asked. That's right, John nodded. You stand out, sitting here with your eyes on her. Maybe you should spend more time on the dance floor like she does. She suggested. Maybe. Is that a great idea or are you implying that you want another dance? Said John with a smirk. Honestly, I enjoyed our dance. I'm here for fun, dancing and drinks. I have no plans to go home with anyone and you're married so the risk is minimal, she replied with a smile. John smiled as well. Looks like we can be useful to each other. Let's go dance. They headed to the dance floor and the evening continued with dancing, talking and mutual support. The evening was coming to an end, and as John had predicted after a couple of cocktails, Kelly had visibly relaxed. She was no longer pushing away the hands of the men dancing with her, who were now and then touching her thighs. Lisa, Julie, and Emily sat at the table, unable to find a date, while Kelly continued to twirl with one partner after another. Finally, nearing the end of the evening, Kelly looked exhausted. She walked over to her table and sank into a chair next to Lisa and Emily. Julie was still dancing. Meanwhile, John and Amy walked back to their table. Soon the guys will start talking her into going with them, Amy said, nodding toward Kelly. If I were you, I'd ask her to dance and get her out of here before something happens. Good advice. Thanks for your help, Amy, John said. I really enjoyed our conversation and the dance. Me too, Amy replied with a smile. John kissed Amy lightly on the cheek and headed over to the table where Kelly, Lisa and Emily were sitting. Excuse me, mademoiselle, but would you like to dance? He asked with a slight smile, turning to Kelly. Lisa and Emily looked at him in surprise. Kelly, on the other hand, answered without looking. I'm sorry, but I think we've had enough dancing for tonight. Are you sure? Maybe just one dance? John insisted gently. Just then, Kelly raised her head to look at him. Oh, hi, honey. I didn't realize it was you. Sure, I'll dance with you. Lisa, I take it you're driving? After our dance, I'll drive Kelly home so you don't have to worry, John said. Have you been here the whole time? Lisa asked. Did you really think I would let Kelly come to a place like this alone? Look at her, she's already tired. If I wasn't here, she'd probably leave with some other man. Now if you'll excuse us. John took Kelly to the dance floor and they twirled in a dance. Afterward, he helped her out of the club. Kelly was so drunk that John had to support her all the way to her car. When he got home, he put her to bed. The next morning, John was sitting at the table in the kitchen reading the newspaper. Kelly walked into the kitchen in her robe, poured herself some coffee and sat across from him. So, how much do you remember about last night? John asked, pulling away from the newspaper. Not very much. I remember you dancing with some brunette, she replied. Oh, that was Amy. She knew right away that I was here to keep an eye on you. We were just talking and dancing. She figured I was a safe partner because I wasn't going to talk her into anything. So I wasn't too over the top then? Kelly asked. No, I kept you in my sights the whole time. When you got drunk, a few guys tried to touch you and you let them a couple times. But nothing serious. Okay. Chuckles, did I at least leave with you? She clarified. Yes, you left with me. We'll have to stop by Lisa's later to pick up your car. Did I at least dance with you? She asked with a slight smile. Of course you did. In fact, you dedicated the last dance of the evening to me. That's good. At least I'm not sick, am I? Surprisingly not, John replied. So it was a good night. I had a good time, but I don't think I want to do it again anytime soon, Kelly said. Thank God for that. I wouldn't want to think about what could have happened again in the morning, or worse, know that something terrible had happened, John answered honestly. Fortunately, we have nothing to worry about. I think I'll go back to bed and try to get some more sleep, Kelly said, leaning over to kiss him. I love you, John said. I love you too, Kelly replied, walking back into the bedroom. John was deep into the paper again, but his mind was spinning with thoughts of the previous evening. He was relieved that it had ended without any major problems, but there was still a slight worry. What if next time he couldn't keep things under control? A couple hours later, Kelly came out of the bedroom already in a normal state of mind. She sat down across from John, pouring herself coffee again, and looked at him. Are you still thinking about last night? She asked. A little, he answered honestly. I'm glad it's over, but I think we need to talk about it. About what? Kelly frowned. About what makes you seek out such adventures. You could have spent the evening with your friends somewhere quieter, but instead you chose a noisy club full of strange men. Kelly was silent, pondering his words. I'm not sure, she finally said. Maybe I just wanted to feel that I could still be wanted. After all these years of marriage, I sometimes feel like I'm becoming invisible. John frowned when he heard that. Invisible? Are you serious? You're the most important person in my life. If I haven't shown that enough, I'm sorry. You are, Kelly hastened to assure him. It's just a feeling I have. It's just probably stupid. John took her hand. It's not stupid if that's how you feel. But I think we've both lost a little of that fire we had. Kelly nodded. You're right. Maybe we need to spend more time together, not just living side by side. John thought for a second, then suggested. Then let's start somewhere new. Let's forget about last night and spend the evening together. Dinner, dancing, anything you want. Even dancing? Kelly asked with a smile. Even dancing. But only with me, John answered with a serious face, but winked at the end. Kelly laughed and hugged him. It's a deal. Such a simple conversation was a turning point for both of them. That evening, John took Kelly to a cozy restaurant and then to the dance floor, where they felt again the spark that had once brought them together. It wasn't just an evening. It was the beginning of a new chapter in their marriage, full of understanding, respect, and the very dances they used to love so much. And that concludes our story today. Thank you for watching to the end. If you liked it, please give it a like and leave a comment. Also, we are always happy to discuss any comments you may have. See you in the next video.